There's a question that almost nobody asks, and it could completely change your life. How much is enough for you to be happy? If you've never asked yourself this question, let's talk about something that could free you from an endless search for more. Because maybe the problem isn't that you don't have enough. Maybe the problem is that nobody ever taught you how to discover what enough means for you. And there's a big difference between these two perspectives. When you hear the word simplicity, what comes to mind? Maybe a monastic life, counting every penny, living with just the bare essentials. Yeah, for a long time I thought that way too. Simplicity seemed like a synonym for deprivation, for living less to have fewer problems. But I discovered something fascinating. A simple life doesn't have to be a limited life. In fact, it can be exactly the opposite. Imagine, for a moment, someone who travels the world, goes to shows by artists they love, wears clothes that make them feel good, tries new coffee shops in town. Is this person living a simple life? The answer is yes, absolutely. And that might surprise you. The difference isn't in what this person does or doesn't do. The difference is in the why behind each choice. Living simply isn't about having fewer things. It's about having more clarity about which things really matter to you. Think about your last week. How many times did you say yes to something that deep down you didn't want to do? How many times did you buy something that seemed necessary, but is now forgotten in some corner? Simplicity is a gateway to living well. It's when you stop getting distracted by life's noise and start asking yourself, does this really serve me? Does this bring me closer to who I want to be? When you embrace this perspective, something magical happens. You discover that you need much less than you imagined. Not because you're depriving yourself, but because you're finally paying attention to what truly satisfies your soul. When you stop chasing after everything, you gain something precious. Space. Space to breathe, to feel, to be present. Space for the adventure you chose to live, not for the rush that chose you. We live in an age of constant comparison. We scroll through other people's lives and wonder, am I doing enough? Do I have enough? This is an endless race, because there will always be someone with more doing, more being more, at least on the surface. What matters isn't how you compare to others. What matters is how you feel at the end of the day. When you take a moment to connect with yourself, to really listen to your desires and needs, you discover something powerful. You are the only expert on your own life. Nobody else can define what enough means for you. Nobody else knows your dreams, your fears, your priorities the way you do. And gradually you notice that your life takes on a different rhythm. Calmer, more focused, more yours. You're not losing anything. You're gaining clarity, purpose, and above all, the feeling that you're in control of your own experience. Living simply means living well without deprivation. It means discovering your own rhythm, your own values, your own definition of enough. There's no one-size-fits-all formula. There's only your formula waiting to be discovered. As you continue with your day, consider a different approach. Instead of what more do I need, try noticing what you really want. The answer might be simpler than you imagine, and that simplicity might be exactly what you've been looking for. Breathe. You already have more than you need to.